A new week starts right here, right now, live on a Monday morning on the early line on SportsGrid and all across that SportsGrid network. It includes sportsgrid.com/watch, where you can find your favorite destination and consume everything all across the grid. He is Donnie Rightside. I am Ben Stevens. We are here together for the next 3 hours up until 11 a.m. Eastern time to look back on the weekend that was and to set the stage for this new week. We'll go around the association, the multiple games that we have missed since we were last together on a Friday morning, including a doubleheader on a Sunday, where we now have two series tied at 2 games apiece. We'll go around the weekend in Major League Baseball. Stanley Cup postseason action continues on the ice. DRS, 3 hours together here on this Monday to kick off a new week up until 11 a.m. Eastern.
Yeah, sort of getting the people ready from Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night. There were so many things that went down in the sports landscape. The playoffs have been absolutely phenomenal. Teams that were dead in the water getting 15-1 prices here to win an NBA championship are now back to about 3 to 4 to 1. We're talking about you, Denver Nuggets, back in that NBA landscape. Great stuff all the way through. And also, it is major championship week on the PGA Tour with the PGA Championship. So it's going to be an epic day here on a Monday to get it popping.
Did Scotty and Meredith have their kid? Mother's Day was yesterday. Were they able to celebrate?
Apparently, it looks like it. I saw the picture where the joke with the kid with the banged up foot coming out there is like, hey, slides around in the pocket there too much. Yeah, good little joke there, but it's time to win some PGA championships. Let's go. Come on.
It is a major championship week in golf with a ton of headlines entering, but we do have some breaking news bright and early on this Monday morning. The NFL schedule release date is on Wednesday, but over the next 48 hours up until Wednesday, we're going to have those dates start to trickle out just a little bit, and that includes the opening night of the 2024 NFL season. We already knew it was at the home of the 2-time reigning Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. For a second consecutive year, the season opens at Arrowhead, and now we know Kansas City's opponent. It's a rematch of last year's AFC Championship game. The Chiefs will host the Ravens to start 2024. DRS, your reaction to the opening game of the 2024 NFL season being the rematch of last year's AFC title game between Lamar Jackson of Baltimore and Patrick Mahomes and Kansas City.
It feels like a home run, man. Like the NFL didn't miss on this one. I actually would have loved to have seen if it was the Texans for that next upcoming team to play them, just to get that measuring stick game right out of the way. But you can't go wrong with 2 teams you expect to be there in the playoffs and possibly a preview already in week number 1 for the AFC Championship game coming up next season here. I love it here. That just gets me so fired up. Can't wait for that Wednesday release of the schedule, but that's a good one. Opening night, everybody is going to be included to that one. Massive ratings across the board, no doubt.
Nobody works harder than the FanDuel Sportsbook. The line is already out for Thursday, September 5th, the opening game in Kansas City. The Chiefs, a slight 2.5-point home favorite with a total of 46 and a hook. They met last year in the AFC title game, and of course they will enter this year with the 2 shortest prices to win the AFC. Plenty more reaction comes your way in our second hour. All right, now time to look back on the weekend that was and the doubleheader in the NBA playoffs. For a second consecutive game in Minneapolis, the Nuggets go on the road and win outright as an underdog. Nobody in this series so far, through its opening 4 games, wants to win at home, and the road team has been booked as an underdog in all 4. This series now has life once again, tied at 2 games all as Denver wins 115-107 outright as an underdog last night in game number 4.
Yeah, this series is far from over, even though the Denver Nuggets now have home court advantage wrestled back in basically a best of 3. But that was tremendous. And we talked about this last week when we're just lining this game up and saying, you know what? Usually you like to get back on the court as quick as possible here once you lose basketball games. But we thought it was actually a positive that the Denver Nuggets were away for so long, just to recalibrate, get the team back together, work on some inefficiencies here. And here we go, 2-2 now. And all if you were Minnesota, all you really want to do, yes, it could have been a 4-game sweep. We get that. But if you're just looking honestly, take one of these 2 games at home. You're probably going to win this series. Now it's 2-2, advantage Denver Nuggets with all the momentum back and going back into their home building. That's a tough scene for Minnesota, who look like clear-cut one of the best teams in the NBA, if not the best team in the NBA. Now back into the fold here. Good stuff as we go. Best of 3 now.
Listen, we got to fly around the rest of this segment, so just know we have plenty of reaction from the weekend around the association and yesterday's two games in this opening half hour. That includes the opening game of the day in Indianapolis. No OG Anunoby for a second consecutive game, and the Knicks certainly looked shorthanded. A shellacking yesterday in Indy, 121-89. The Pacers win by 32 points over New York. They take advantage at home, winning both games 3 and 4. This series tied at 2 games all. The Pacers easily cover as a 5.5-point favorite in game number 4.
I'm probably not getting OG Anunoby back anytime soon at this point either. That is a tough loss yesterday because it's one thing to lose close, but when you lose in blowout fashion, now it's 2-2 going back to New York. You're going to need Brunson to step up and have those 40-plus point games to even have a chance here. Advantage Indiana right back in it.
The Florida Panthers lost the opening game of their second-round series in the Stanley Cup postseason 5-1 against Boston. Since that point, it's been all Florida. It's been close, but it's been mostly Florida. Yesterday, 6-2 victory for the Panthers as they scored 3 straight goals to take game number 4 in Boston and take a 3-1 series advantage over the Bruins.
Yeah, that's a big comeback win there for the Panthers, taking that series back 3-1. No Marchand in that game, who I believe has a concussion that they call about what? Oh, look at this. It's an upper body injury. No, he has a concussion here. Who knows if he's going to be back for the series. But the Panthers, the better team in the regular season, now showing up here 3-1.
My mistake. Yeah, it is 3-1. All right. The ESPN app did not update. It is 3-1. Ben got that right. All right. Anyway, here we go. Around the rest of the NHL from yesterday. It has been a very, very back and forth series here. I know what I got wrong. I was looking at the wrong day. That's on me. The Panthers win yesterday 3-2, not 6-2. Anyway, in the second game of the day, the Vancouver Canucks on the road in Edmonton take game number 3 in a 2-1 series lead over the Oilers. This one has been incredibly tightly contested, decided by a goal in all 3 games. 4-3 the win yesterday for the Canucks in Edmonton. They now have a 2-1 series lead.
Jumped out 3-1 in that first period for the Canucks. And again, I am rooting for the Oilers here, but boy, you got to play some defense. You got to get some better goaltending at this point. We understand the Oilers games technically always go to the over. You had to win that game last night. Vancouver now takes that series lead.
Yes, they certainly do. Before the doubleheader in the NBA postseason yesterday, we had the NBA draft lottery. Not a lot of fanfare or attention around it because of how poor this draft class is in 2024 compared to years prior. But we did have a huge upset yesterday. The Atlanta Hawks, who had just a 3% chance of getting the number 1 overall selection, pull the upset. The Atlanta Hawks earned the number 1 overall pick, and despite having the worst record in the NBA regular season for a second consecutive year, the Pistons, for a second straight year, fall into the 5 slot. Ping pong balls, not a favorite in the Motor City.
No, certainly not. But I do like this about the NBA. Like, you shouldn't get rewarded here just for tanking a season to get the number 1 overall pick. I do understand that. But also, if you are the Atlanta Hawks, boy, you stole one here. You would have loved it to have been last year because this is one of those drafts like, okay, we got number 1 this year. Can we trade it for next year's number 1 or the following 2 years number 1 at this point? Because you're right about that. There wasn't a lot of fanfare because, my goodness, this is a terrible NBA draft as it sets up to be.
We'll get Donnie's big board in hour number 2. Now to Major League Baseball. Brandon Nimmo walks it off on Sunday Night Baseball inside Citi Field. A 2-run shot in the home half of the 9th to avoid the sweep against Atlanta with a 4-3 win. Rory McIlroy, looking for his first major championship in a decade, will enter Valhalla this week in the PGA Championship off a win at the Wells Fargo. Big one for Rory. Nelly Korda's win streak does come to a close